Hey, this is McKinley with alloutdoors.com, and this is a review of the Camelbak Mule. Right off the bat, this is an awesome backpack. It's true calling, it's mountain biking, trail running, any of the fast-paced sports where you need to go ultra light, ultra fast, and you don't need a lot of gear, but you want to carry it almost perfectly with this backpack. This is one of my all-time favorite packs. In fact, I've got my original Camelbak Mule from 2006. That's right, I've been using these bags for 10 years almost. This was my only backpack from about 5th grade all the way up until high school. This is one of my all-out favorite backpacks for anything you don't need to carry a lot of technical equipment with. Nowadays, my old one is my computer bag that I still use for class and carry around film equipment, but this new one is my trail running pack, and I couldn't be happier with it. The newer generation, they've really followed the trend of getting away from the old canvas kind of nylon taffeta materials, and they're moving towards a diamond ripstop nylon on these packs, and I couldn't be a bigger fan, especially down here in Florida. Huge problem with rain and humidity. This material doesn't absorb any sweat, it won't absorb rain, it just beads right off of it, which is perfect because you won't get any odd smells after using this for a while, you know, like my old one. And you don't have to worry about rain getting into any of this. I've been in 2 downpours, and while it's not advertised as waterproof, it is definitely water resistant because my camera and my phone were both saved by the zippers on this bag and an outright downpour down here in Florida. Moving from the outside in, first off, you've got this awesome kangaroo pouch on the outside where you can stuff plenty of gear in there. Extra poncho, extra layer, maybe some snacks that you want to get at quickly. I usually keep a map in there folded up, and you can cinch that down with side compression straps, just like on a full-size backpack. Didn't skimp on the bottom ones, that's important, keep the load centered. But up here, this is really kind of anything that's dirty, anything that's wet, anything extra that you don't technically need, just stuff it in back here, it'll do great. You've got these buckles on the outside holding that to you, which you have to take off to get into the main body of the pack. So just remember that, don't overstuff it too much or you can't get into your back. You've got a giant, almost panel loader pack out here. You've got a little bit more room in the bottom. You've got about 15 inches total in here, 15 or 18 inches of usable space, depending on if you're using this pocket up here. And the great thing about this is that it's nice and long. So if you've got, you know, longer tripod, anything that you want to shove down in there, it'll be great. You can fit 16-ounce water bottles stacked all the way up here. Stove, poncho, a little bit of food, that's it. You can't really fit a whole lot in here. This is really kind of a half-day, 3/4 day pack when you're out hiking with it or biking with it, you know. There's not a whole lot you can do carrying large loads, not just because of the capacity, but just because the suspension is not really up to snuff to do large loads. You've got this media pocket up here to hold your phone. You can fit a camera in here, but it's unlined. So make sure that if you're gonna keep like your car keys and your phone in there, either put the phone in a baggie or put the keys in a baggie, because it will bounce around while you're moving, scratch your stuff up. You definitely don't want that. The zipper up here isn't advertised water resistant. It's definitely water resistant from my experience testing out this bag, especially in downpours. I wouldn't chuck it in a lake, but anything else that you want to do with it, you should be good to go. Ride it underneath a poncho, good to go. Like I said, the material and the zippers, they did a great job putting them together. Moving down here to the front pocket, you've got an organization pocket down here where you can, you know, keep lighters, multi-tools, anything. A spare inner tube for a 26-inch bike will fit back here. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff because you've got plenty of room, but there's not a whole lot of room for a giant med kit, 2 extra tires, 2 days worth of food. That's not the calling of this bag. You're really making compromises with anything you put into this bag because of the way that it's sewn together. When you overstuff one pocket, you're taking away room out of the other. So if you fill both the main body of the pack up and this organization pouch, you can barely use the kangaroo pouch in between. So just keep that in mind when you're packing it. When you are really filling this thing up too, you get to the problem on the back here of the shoulder straps and the hip belt, if you could call it a hip belt. Essentially with the shoulder straps, they're very lightly padded to keep them breathable, which is great, especially if you're doing highly technical stuff like bike riding or trail running. These will do great because they breathe really well, even in 80–90% humidity like we get down here almost year round in Florida, these do great. On the earlier generations of Camelbaks, they had these articulating plastic loops up here. They got rid of those, perfect, and they're angled out. So if you've got a big neck, or you got a little bit of extra weight on your shoulders, it won't chafe like they used to, or like some of the cheaper packs do. They really nailed down the shape of these shoulder straps, and I'm really glad to see that. Also with the shoulder straps, Camelbak has moved the reservoir pocket from out underneath the shoulder blades to in front of it, which is really great because it's easier to filter water into the reservoir, easier to wrestle this thing in and out because it doesn't have a whole lot of shape. It's like an amoeba, just a bag of water. They have this awesome antidote reservoir that comes with the bag. You've got a quarter turn, open and close just to pop it right off. You've got hanger arms to dry this thing out. They've really kind of ironed out how to clean it, how to take care of it. It's just an awesome reservoir. Doesn't hold taste. I don't know if you're supposed to, but I've used iodine tablets in here. I haven't had any problems. Your mileage may vary. I'm sure Camelbak has a ruling out there on which reservoirs to use iodine in or not. I've used it, it works fine. Another great feature of these new bags is, I don't know, you probably can't see that on camera, they've added a hanger inside with a little bit of body to it so that you can shove the beak of the reservoir onto a hanger in there so you keep a little bit better shape instead of getting one big bag of water sitting at the bottom of your pack. Helps distribute the load a lot better. Really great, just little detail. They've added a little piece of anodized aluminum just to mark which pocket has the water in it. If you want to, you're using gloves or it's at night and you need to open up your reservoir and refill it. Really easy to see that right on the side of the pack. I like it. All the zipper pulls throughout in the zippers, like I've raved about, they're great. They're easy to pull, they keep their shape, but they're not too big to where you'll snag on things. This whole pack really cinches down well. You're not gonna snag it. It is covered up by anyone's shoulders. Even a small girl will cover up the pack with her shoulders, so if you're riding through the brush or if you turn a corner, you're not going to scrape this on a tree or a rock or have a branch, cut the top of the bag open like I've done before. Moving down, you've got this really cool magnetic trap for the drinking hose, which just helps keep it secured if you are running or biking. When I first saw this, it feels cheap. In fact, all the plastic on this bag feels cheap, but it's not. I haven't had any problems. I accidentally stepped on this. It was fine. In fact, the only Camelbak buckle I've ever broken was on my old bag, and I ran over it with a truck. So your mileage may vary, but I've never had a problem with any durability issues on Camelbak, so I like it. I like the magnet in it, It doesn't snag on any metal kind of zippers if you're wearing a jacket or on your knife or anything. It's not that strong of a magnet, but it definitely does its job just to kind of keep everything secured, so if you're biking or running, it keeps it out of your face and keeps it from flopping around. The back panel, this particular bag has the XV back panel. It's not a frame, so it is somewhat flexible, but you've got these nice air channels cut into it. Like I said, this whole pack is made to be light, fast, breathable for stuff where you're going to be getting hot quickly. The waist belt, which is, it's just a strip of webbing velcroed onto the side of the pack with a D-ring with a little 3/4 inch buckle. It's not load bearing. You can't expect to load this thing up with 35 pounds of sand and then ride around with it, because it's not going to transfer the weight to your hips like a fully featured frame backpack will. It's not designed for that. What this hip belt is designed to do is just to keep the bag from flipping up at the bottom if you're pedaling your bike or if you're running. Just like we've been talking about, just keep everything nice and tight and balanced on your back so that you don't have to worry about anything shifting or breaking or moving while you're out on the trail or on the bike or on your kayak, as I've used this before too. The hip belt comes off if you're going to use this as a camera bag or as a laptop case, anything you want to use for your urban use but still have some water on you. That comes off so it's not snagging, or if it's not, you don't look like a dork having a webbing hip belt on your camera bag. The only things I would say that I don't like about this bag is the buckles. They feel a little cheap. It's a pride thing, it's a quality thing. I'm sure they work great. I've never broken one, but it's a little cheap feeling. If I had to have a gripe, of course you've got a heavy duty sewn in gear loop at the top, hanging it up on a carabiner or hanging it up when you get home. Not a problem. Especially if these are retailing for now online with the antidote reservoir, which you can always take out and put into other Camelbaks, or you can put into other backpacks. This is a steal. You know, materials and construction, I gotta give it 5 stars. It's just the stitching throughout, the way the zippers are done, it's all done right. You can tell that this is a 4th or 5th generation backpack because all the little quirks that they've had before are just gone. Everything about this pack is just high quality, high speed, really for the person who's looking for a lightweight backpack for trail running, for mountain biking, for paddle sports, anything that you would need something light and fast like this for. I can't recommend it enough. This is my 3rd Camelbak Mule. I've been using them essentially every day for 10 years, and I'll probably never give up this backpack. It's been in production for 20 years from Camelbak this year, and one of the best-selling hydration packs of all time. This has been a review of the Camelbak Mule by McKinley for alloutdoors.com.